Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Drama Hospital recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. Let's get right to it at Nathan and Maxie's. We don't see Nathan today, but Nina has pretty much moved Crimson into the apartment, so if Nathan wakes up, he won't run off to work. They'll be there to stop him, and Nina is a bit distracted by all the baby stuff for Georgie. So Franco comes over and he received a call from an adoption agency, and Nina's like, I told you about that. And Franco's like, no, you didn't. So that is a little uncomfortable, especially because Maxie's right there. So he's not on board, and the adoption agency turned them down anyway, so there's nothing to be on board with. Nina sees how, Franco leaves. Nina sees how other people's kids love Franco, and she wants in on that, but he doesn't want kids of their own. And that's upsetting for her. Maxie is being really nice to Nina, and Nina tells her she's never had any female friends besides Allegra, who was her horse, and her mother had her destroyed after she went into a coma, which is just straight up cold-blooded. Like, oh my goodness, who does that? Who's like, you were my daughter's favorite pet, let me destroy you? Like, no. If anything, you would keep this animal that your child loved. Like, that's cold. Like, I know she killed Silas and all, and I'm like mad at her about that, but like, oh my god. Like, this hit me on a whole nother level. So anyway, Maxie makes some coffee, and they talk about second chances, and Maxie gently tells her that even if the agency says yes, it seems like Franco really is a no. So Nina thinks that she could talk Franco into it, and then says there's no adoption agency that'll give them a baby, so the point's moot. And Maxie's like, well, there are other ways to have a baby. And Maxie says she can hire a lawyer and they can work out a private adoption, and Nina doesn't like that idea because it would feel too much like buying a baby. And Maxie doesn't know that Nina can't have children on her own, so she suggests that, and Nina's like, oh, like, I can't. My cousin told me that I can't. And Maxie's like, wait, your cousin Britt? You mean Britt, the one who stole Dante and Lulu's embryo and implanted it in herself and gave birth to their child and pretended she and Dante had, like, that person? That's the person you're taking their word for it? So Maxie tells her to revisit it and get a second opinion, because, like, and Nina really likes that idea. At Sunny and Carly's place, Carly can't stop thinking about Morgan, and she's been making provisions to get the wheelchair ramps out anyway. And Sunny's like, oh, well, there's no rush, and, plus Avery's going to be staying here for a while, so we have to get that taken care of. And Carly's like, first of all, no, Ava's going to take her back as soon as Kiki's okay. And second, you really need to pay attention to Morgan right now. Like, Morgan needs your attention. So Sunny got Diane involved with Morgan's arrest and legal situation. And Diane says she's going to have to work really hard to get Paul to agree to a deal, or else Morgan could be going to prison. So, she says, the DA needs a scapegoat for what happened, with the hostage situation and Kiki being shot. Like, the raid wasn't a clean raid, and he's going to want to blame that on someone so it doesn't come back on him. And plus, Morgan's last name is Corinthos, so he's going to want to throw the book at him. And she's like, but Morgan does have an out. But Sunny and Carly are going to have to put themselves on the line. So they'll have to assume legal guardianship of Morgan, and then he can get probation and treatment. And Carly seems reluctant, although Diane says she can pull this off no problem. And after Diane leaves, Carly tells Sunny that she can't go along with it. So she says they're not enough. They're not capable enough. They're not enough to help Morgan. Like, they've already failed him. And Sunny thinks that she's blaming him and his business. And she's like, no, this is our life. We're both to blame. And our life draws him in. It's too much. And she says they have to give him to someone who can help him. At the hospital, Morgan is not happy with his whole restraint situation, and Michael tells Morgan the doctors are hopeful for Kiki. So Morgan says he was just getting air on the roof the other day, and Michael totally blew it out of proportion, and amazingly, that's not how Michael remembers it. So Morgan denies he was going to kill himself, and he says he's never as bad as Sonny got. And, because Michael reminded us that they had just in the recent past walked in on Sonny about to shoot himself. So, Morgan's saying it was all talk and he wasn't going to do anything. And Michael's like, you thought Kiki was with you. You totally lost touch with reality. And like, Morgan's like, whatever, not really, whatever. So Michael gives him the reality of prison, and Morgan says that his parents won't let that happen, so stop thinking about it. And Morgan promises he's going to make everyone proud of him, and this is never going to happen again. He thought he could handle being off his meds, and he couldn't, and he's not going to make that mistake again. Also, at the hospital, Franco wants to see Kiki but can't, and Jake FaceTimes him to ask if he's going to be at his welcome home party. I'll tell you more about that in a second. And Jake is also worried that he'll have to ride a bike again, or he won't remember how to ride a bike, and he also mentions how, his parents aren't there. At Shriners, Jake is all set to go home today. Elizabeth initially is there when Jake FaceTimes him. It was when Elizabeth left to go get Jason. And Jake misses Franco and wants to draw with him and really wants him at his party. He's really attached to Franco. And he also worries that Sam's going to be at his welcome home party. At the Arlington Plaza Hotel, Sam and Jason fell asleep together on the couch, and they wake up together, and they're just so cute. Because I know people were having, an issue with the chemistry between them, they weren't feeling J-Sam like they felt J-Sam before in the past. Is it getting better? Are you feeling more chemistry, or is it still off to you? Because to me, I'm but, I'm also very, hyper emotional, so I don't know if I'm just objectively or if I'm just woo. So anyone who's been a little on the fence about them, how are you feeling now, especially after today? Because I just think they were adorable, but I want to know what you think. And as Jason is coming out of Sam's room, Elizabeth is walking by. Who could have saw that coming? So after some awkwardness, Elizabeth tells Jason that Jake is being discharged today, if he wants to be there, and Jason's like, yeah, of course I want to be there. I'll be, I'm right on my way. So Jason invites Sam to come to the hospital for Jake's discharge, and she's like, maybe it's better if me and Danny just head home. And Jason says, they all need to get used to how things are because they're all connected by their kids and they're all going to be each other's lives. Back at Shriners, Franco rides a bike down the hall of the hospital and crashes it, and Jake is really happy to see him. It's cute, I swear, it wasn't traumatic or anything. The bike Franco was on, he bought for Jake. So Liz comes in and sees Franco with Jake, and it's probably you live near Rochester. How are you in Philadelphia? But Elizabeth asks about the bike, and Franco gets Donna, the nurse, on his side that the only rule is Shriners is children get to be children. So Donna's cool with the bike being there. Elizabeth asks how he knew to bring a new bike, and Franco tells her about the FaceTime call, and he says he hopped in the car and drove over with the bike. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say it, but Philly to Rochester is a 7-hour drive, and he got there in 3 scene changes. Anyway. So Franco asks why she's so grumpy, and she says, she wants to go, and Jason isn't there yet. And Franco's like, what could he possibly be doing that's more important than being there for you and Jake? And of course, Jason's behind him the whole time with Sam, and Franco's like, oh, that explains it. Geez, Franco, sorry we don't have magic teleportation cars that can do a 7-hour drive and 3 scene changes. Whatever. I'm hilarious. I'm sorry. I just Anyway, I've been to Rochester before, okay? It was a 7-hour drive, but that was on a bus. But still, I'm just saying. And that was, yeah, anyway. End scene, woo! Maxie makes a call, and Crimson is en route to be printed, and the printer asks if she wants the whole thing green, and she's like, no, last time was an accident, and we spun it pretty well. And I'm like, I don't know if you should be saying that since you told everyone else that it was to bring awareness to the environment. You don't want people to think that was just a spin job, so you shouldn't be saying that anymore. But anyway, Maxie wonders where they got the idea that this one was supposed to be green, because apparently someone told them that. The nurse tells Nina that Franco took the day off last minute to visit Liz and her son, and Nina's like, pretty much, she doesn't know what to think of it. Jason tells Franco that he needs to leave, and Liz is like, hey, you have a friend here, why can't I? And Jake's going to go to the playroom with Danny for a hot second, and Jason leaves it up to Liz whether they keep the Franco bike, and she's like, yeah, Jake loves it, we should keep it. She doesn't say it that snarky, but I can't blame her, because why can't she have a friend there? I know it's Franco, but she has, Franco kidnapped her kid, and so they both have equal you know, they both have bad experiences with Franco's, what I'm trying to say. But again, I think we're like trying to give a clean slate here, at least. I don't know. Jason's kind of getting a bit of a clean slate with his memory loss. Anyway. Oh, and Franco's like, I'm glad you refer, you know, I can't believe you referred to us as friends. And she's like, I met you and Jake. And he's like, no, you didn't. Anyway, Morgan, wonders how realistic Diane's solution is. Oh, Diane's there, by the way. And Morgan's cool with the solution. And he said, you know, after Diane leaves, he says, you know, Michael, everything's going to be fine. It's, you know, everything's going to be fine. And I'm like, no, it's not, because it's showing you have no consequences for your actions. And I don't know if prison's the right consequence, but he needs consequences, or else none of this is going to matter. And Sonny isn't on board with Carly's idea to have Morgan committed. He refuses because he thinks they're just going to like pump him through full of drugs and send him to a padded room. Maybe if it was Ferncliff, but if it's Shady Brook, he'll just get to play board games with other people, and that's pretty nice. Anyway, I don't think going back with Sonny and Carly is going to be good for Morgan. I think maybe going to Shady Brook, it would show that there's consequences, and it would actually maybe get him some help, because I think Carly has a point that their lives are way too tempting for Morgan. Like, that's what he wants. You know, he wants in on that, and being around it while he's still supposed to be recovering probably isn't good for him. But that's just me. I'm a couch therapist. I sit on a couch and analyze fictional characters. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today's episode. Today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. It would mean so much. And I will see you tomorrow for more General Hospital, right? Because today's Thursday. Yes, it is. So I'll see you tomorrow for more General Hospital. I hope you have a great day.